Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is the week we've all been waiting for. I know that Ian is a very popular person on many websites north of the Red River, and we are going to talk about today. This is your Roundtable.
We didn't come this far just to come this far.
We want to be legendary here.
All right, guys, here we are. Ian, welcome. This is your time to shine. How has this week been going for you? I've noticed have you had some special correspondence? Maybe heard from some people that you haven't heard from in a while?
No, not really.
Okay, good. I'm really glad I opened up with such a deep question that's really going to bring this in. What is this week for you, though, Ian? I know that you are quite popular on some other message boards.
It's telling how quiet it's been.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's a great deal of confidence north of the Red River in this game. You can tell from the level of activity from my fans up there.
It's a liberal use of fandom, but yes, I completely understand what you mean.
They read all my stuff. They follow my Twitter. I don't know what else.
They read his stuff. They talk about him all the time. That's a fan.
I actually went over the metrics the other day, and 90% of his impressions come from OU fans.
That's good.
That's why we're big fans of Sooner Scoop.
Is the impression of an illiterate dipshit?
Yeah.
I love that you guys are getting deep into the stats. That's really, really important. And it's time for our favorite episode of Deep Stats. All right, let's go through these. So this is something that I looked at. Again, we want to get into the analytics. We really want to see what's going on here. So this is Brett Venables versus PK in calling the interception play. All right. So I wanted to go with you on this, Paul, and then we maybe jump it around who's ever feeling it. How are we feeling about the respective pass defenses for both teams?
These are great analytics, and it's honestly it's a shame Ian and I don't get this in depth, and we have this sort of cursory understanding of football stats. 7-6 is an advantage of 1.
Correct.
I just did that in my head. And I think PK's been calling. I think he's been holding back some interception calls.
Okay.
Whereas I think Brent Venables has emptied the mag, if you prefer. And I think this is a good stat. It's very telling. I will point out that the Texas Bass defense has faced the third-string quarterback for Michigan.
That's a fair point.
The now benched quarterback, General Booty, who was benched at ULM.
Also true.
The benched Owen McCown, the backup for Mississippi State, and Colorado State's entire offense, passing offense, which was good last year, all got like eczema and dysentery. So I don't know what's been going on, but I know that we have been calling the interception play.
And hey, also talk about emptying the clip real quick. Got to hit this. Dylan Stewart, South Carolina. Be careful, Paul, because if you're faking brandishing a firearm, that's a 15-yard penalty.
And I can't even call it a Red River shootout. I have to call it the Red River rivalry.
Given the offense that OU is working with, do you think we're going to see a dime package at all this game?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely do it on third down. They have zone coverages in that package that are pretty good for if the other team has a mobile quarterback that wants to solve for third down by scrambling. I think having Anthony Hill in underneath coverage is a good solution for that. As to Paul's point, I mean, Texas is still only facing the backup quarterback. And I wouldn't bet against seeing the third stringer in this game either. So this is just another Saturday for Texas.
Who is the third stringer?
Oh, it's Casey Thompson.
Oh,
Is Casey the third stringer?
Yeah, he's been watching a lot of film this week.
If we were to take anything from our friends over at Sooner Scoop, which we do, we're lovely people, in their breakdown, they actually have the over on 1.5 quarterbacks that will be seen on the Oklahoma side this day or on this game. So they're anticipating seeing at least another quarterback in there or half a quarterback. I don't know if Kyler Murray's still there, but they're basically planning on bringing in another quarterback. So with all this, and I'm glad that you mentioned Ant Hill because that brings us to our second deep stat here. And this is to do with Anthony Hill versus Stutzman. So this is linebacker play. And specifically what I want to talk about here is selfishness. if you look at this, Anthony Hill has 12 solo tackles. He's not very much of a team player when it comes to tackles. And Stutzman, 22. He's not allowing his teammates to tackle with him. So one of the criticisms that came up this week was maybe Hill being the worst player in the front seven.
Yeah, this is probably what Gabe Eichert is referencing. Gabe Eichert sounds like he himself is selfish, and that's what he seeks in his linebacker play. I think Stanley Stutzman is actually overrated. Take that, Gabe Eichert. I think the guy's a little bit of a cult hero up there. He's an okay player, nothing great. Definitely, probably the worst guy in their front seven.
Okay.
Isn't he related? Isn't he related to the Tiger guy?
The Tiger King?
Yeah, aren't they related because they wear the same clothes?
I don't know the lineage there.
They look very similar, like they're family.
Well, on that basis, he might be related to Connor Wegman.
Well, let's look at this from a front seven perspective. One of the things we're reading here, one of the things we're seeing is potentially OU using that defense to basically just shut down the run game rather, force Quinn into a hurried position and make him execute a game plan. If you were OU, what would you do in this situation, Paul?
I think actually OU is going to show a lot, but I think ultimately they're going to try to play off coverage. And I think they're going to actually they're going to bring blitzes, but the blitzes will be men that are unexpected, not necessarily a lot of extra men. And I think they're going to show one thing and do another. And I think they're going to fall back into a shell and try to prevent explosives. I think they're going to dare us to run the ball, actually, in sort of open-ended situations, 1st and 10, whatever. And we've got to be able to run the ball, and we've got to hold on to the ball, because part of OU's wager in winning this game, they've got a pretty narrow path to walk to win it. But one of the ways that they can is if we turn over the ball, if we have unforced turnovers, unforced errors. So ball security is going to be big. And if they present a run-friendly front, we need to punish that. It can't be a 3-yard run. It's got to be a 9-yard run. And you got to get them out of that.
We talked a little bit during the live on Monday, Ian, about some of the plays that we haven't necessarily seen a lot of. Primarily the wheel play is something that you were discussing. And sorry, Sark mentioned this in his press conference, that they're definitely going to be introducing some new wrinkles this week.
I actually think that we'll put in an Arch Manning Wildcat package.
Run them like they did. Get them back for Dylan Gabriel last year and run the shit out of Arch.
Justin, who are we? I understand that obviously OU is the home team this week. We're not hosting anybody, but are there any players that both teams are going after that you would expect to be at this game?
Recruiting wise, absolutely. Really for 2025, that one's pretty much done for the most part. But 2026 there's going to be plenty on campus. There's going to be plenty at that game. Javian Osborne, tailback out of Vorney, he's going to be there. Oklahoma's in pursuit. Caden Finley, a top target at wide receiver. His dad played in this game a few times. Jermichael Finley back in the 2000s. He's going to be there as well. And so it's a lot of 2026 guys. There's a lot of crossover, a lot of overlapping guys when it comes to Texas and Oklahoma. And the last 2 times Oklahoma has hosted this game, we have actually had recruits reach out and get up and go to the other side of the stadium. 4 years ago, it was Colton Voshik. 2 years ago, it was Micah Hudson. I don't know who it's going to be this year, but I cannot wait to get that call.
I would love to just take a quick second and hear from the sponsor of this week's video. And this is One Reed Wadlington. This was a fantastic read.
One of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make in your life is the purchase of a home or the refinance of an existing home. And you need the right person on your team. That person is Gabe Winslow. He is a lifetime Longhorn, a huge supporter of Inside Texas and Longhorn Nation. And you can reach him at 832-557-1095. Why Gabe? Over 20 years in the industry. He has a law degree. He's fantastic at what he does. And he loves creating solutions for his clients. Give him a call. If he's not your first call, make darn sure he's your last call. And you'll find out why so many Longhorns have raved about the service that he provides.
Moving into our final round of deep stats today, and this is something that I think is really important, and it's my most consistent deep stat, and that is the admission acceptance rate. And guys, look, last week, Mississippi State We're coming in at 75%. Oklahoma is serving its community far better than the University of Texas is, allowing 76% of their applicants in here. And this is something that I know you're very passionate about, Paul. And was there something in specific about this statistic that resonated with you?
It just caught my attention because I didn't realize it was that high. They get a lot of mileage out of that National Merit Scholars thing that they do. OU, if you don't know, gives these incredible packages to National Merit Scholars to try to entice them to go to Oklahoma. My older brother got one of those packages offered, and he said I could go to UT on a small partial scholarship or go to OU on a full ride with a stipend, and I'm going to be a Longhorn. So, yeah, sorry. It's nice to get a free ride, but free ride to what?
Well, this is nice. I just want to give Oklahoma credit again for serving their community at a very extensive level. We've got some picks coming in here, and honestly, when I heard these today, you guys are really going for it. So let's start with you, Eric. What are some of the keys to the game that you're seeing? And I'd love to hear your projected score.
I mean, the keys are, this is such an obvious game. At least it's a very straightforward game to me. Don't let Hawkins beat you with his legs. Last year they let Dylan Gabriel do it, but they were way more versatile, way more multiple on offense last year than they are this year. This year, that's pretty much all they have is Hawkins and trying to manufacture, misdirection plays, that sort of thing. Key to the game is you don't turn the ball over. Quinn have a good game. Doesn't have to have a great game. I think he is going to have a very big game, actually. Relative to their defense, they do have a good defense. Number 10 defense in the nation per FEI. Keys to the game: don't turn it over. Keep Hawkins in the pocket. Make him try to beat you with his arm. He's not going to be able to do that. And I think Texas is going to win. I got them at 44-17.
Moving over to you, Ian. This is something, again, you spend a lot of time thinking about this team. It pretty much dominates your free time. So where do you see this going? I mean, how do you see this breaking down? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this game.
Well, I think Texas's goal in this game should be statement. Make a statement and indicate that this next coming decade is going to be a Longhorn decade and a trip into the wilderness for Oklahoma until they figure out their next great head coach, which I think will eventually come, but it will not be Brent Venables. And if Texas is lucky, it won't be the guy after him either. So with that sort of landmark in mind, I chose for my score 63-14 in Texas's favor. It's going to be a familiar score to anyone older than 30, I would imagine.
It's very, very specific. Now, Paul, you are taking a different tact on this. I don't want to steal any of your thunder here, but you're looking at this to be maybe a tighter game than your colleagues are.
I am taking the broader view. I'm taking the 10,000-foot macro view, which is in a rivalry game, any W is a W, and you move on and advance, and you don't worry about it. We've got to turn the worm, gentlemen. We're 8-17 against OU in our last 25, 3-8 in our last 11. In those 8 losses, 7 of them by 1 score or less. 4 of those basically on the last play of the game. So we've got to turn it. And I think 63-14 is within the realm of possibility. I think 31-17 is within the realm of possibility. But I think, as the great Tom Herman taught us, we need to have a 1-0 culture. So what matters is the win. It doesn't matter what the win looks like. We just need to get the win, survive in advance. And if I happen to bet a line on OU that was plus 16.5 and we win and also I cover, I mean, that's not important to me. What's important to me is that we get the win. And it doesn't really matter how. Ian thinks that they're going to score 14 points on us. I'm predicting a shutout.
Correct.
So in many ways, I'm the OU pessimist and he's a wild-eyed optimist.
It's a turn. It's a turn of roles here, and I was happy to be here to see it. Justin, where do you see this going?
Yeah, I'm going to try to be normal on this. I got Texas winning, but I think it's going to be closer. On paper, Texas is better. They've got the better matchups. They got the more depth, and I think they have a little bit more to play for, especially after last year. That was the theme the last couple of weeks with practice. You remember last year because that one stuck. That one stung pretty hard on Sark. They didn't like the way that one ended, obviously. So I think this game's going to be closer. Like Mikey Hawkins is going to have to throw the ball, and he's going to connect a few times. It's going to happen, but I just don't see it being more than a few times. I got Texas winning 34-17. Again, this is a rivalry game. On paper, Texas is probably a 63-14 winner, but they don't play it on paper. And maybe Venables and Latrell leave a fake game plan, just lying on the sidelines, hoping that Texas picks it up. Maybe that helps them for a drive. You never know. But I do know it's a rivalry. I do know throw the records out the door. Oklahoma has some momentum now. If this was Jackson Arnold, I would be with Ian on his pick, but it's not. It's with Hawkins, and they're going to build stuff around him. And so I think it'll be closer than the blowouts, but Texas is going to win this one by double digits.
This entire 2 weeks, we've had loads of coverage on this game as we move toward this great rivalry game. This is one of the games that obviously everybody looks forward to every year. We invite you to join us at Inside Texas. We're running a special right now. It's 50% off the annual rate. So it's a phenomenal rate. It is a flash sale. This is not going to last forever. So we please join us there. Join the community there. It's a really fun group of people that are obviously very passionate about your Texas Longhorns. If you just use the promo code HOOK'em, you can join us there. We really appreciate you being here, guys. If you are traveling up from Austin or anywhere in Texas, making the drive there, please be safe. Remember that the left lane is for passing. You know who you are. You don't want to be that person that anybody is just indignant about. If you're not passing people on the right, y'all just get over. It's okay. Oh. It's totally okay. You can do that. That's what the Good Samaritans do. Well, and again, for Justin, for Ian, for Paul, and for Eric, thank you so much for being with us today. Have a great weekend, and we will see you pre-game an hour before the game starts. And the second that clock hits 0, join us here at Inside Texas at YouTube. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell. We've got a lot of content coming towards you, and we really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.